everyone, it's Sharona from Pay Your Weights, and today I'm going to be reviewing Good Girls Season 3, Episode 10, Opportunity. And there are a lot of opportunities in this episode, but the biggest opportunity that we were talking about in this episode was the fact that at the end of last week's episode, they basically decided that they were going to hire a hitman. I believe his name is Greg. I could have made that up, but I know Andrew McCarthy plays the hitman. And so he basically told Beth at the end of last week's episode that on Friday at 11 o'clock, he's going to kill Rio. So the episode opens up and she's kind of telling the women what happened with their conversation, that the hit was taking place Friday at 11. And then they're talking about their opportunity, that what happened if Rio is actually dead is the fact that things will actually be able to go back to normal with them. They can live a semi-normal life after all of this. So it happened at 11. Andy's saying that, oh, yes, it happened because the dog stared at me. And I was just like, girl, where do you come up with these things? I just didn't understand whatsoever. However, once Beth gets home, she's living her best life. She got her music jumping. She got her groceries dancing in the house and stuff, popping champagne. And then, of course, I was like, it ain't no way they killed my baby daddy like this. Y'all didn't kill my baby daddy Rio like this. You didn't. I know you will show it if something were to happen. So she's having the best time of her life. And then she turns around and she hears a voice and says, like, what are we celebrating? And of course, it's my baby daddy Rio. I was like, yeah, right. Yeah, I was going to sit up here and kill him. So, of course, he ends up taking her with him. They're going on this ride. I'm thinking like, oh, Lord, they didn't caught the guy that was supposed to be killing him and they didn't kill him and now he finna kill her. She shook. I'm shook. Rio just sitting there looking all nice, calm, cool, and collected, looking fine as always. So he's in the car. They go to a car wash and then he reaches in the glove compartment. I was like, oh, my goodness, he finna pull a gun out of her. But it was not a gun. He was basically asking her, like, what is your system? And what I hate about Beth is she's always lies to Rio. And I'm just like, Beth, you know that he ends up finding out everything. Like, didn't you, like, you literally don't have furniture in your house. You don't have any furniture in your house because of the last time that you lied to him. So why are you still lying? So essentially, he says, you know, where do you keep your money? And he was like, in your mattress? And she was like, yeah. He was like, but you ain't got no mattress. And he was like, see, that's what I be talking about. And so he says, well, if you're not going to tell me, then you don't get your cut. So he cuts all of the women off. He basically has Odu take her back, but he was like, I'm finna give me some IHOP first. I said, you know what? I could take some IHOP. I just want their pancakes with the strawberry syrup because the syrup be hitting. But so we see that everyone's frustrated because they're just like, wait a minute, how he just gonna take our money like that? But first of all, where is this hitman? So she goes to like his little UPS shop or whatever type of shop that he owns. And so essentially, he doesn't want to meet with them, but he does leave them a copy of extra stuff that he is owed, like an extra $11,000 on top of the $60,000 that he initially charged them. And so they begin to start following him around. And so he's carrying this cello case around, but they thinking that it's a gun. I was like, you know what? It just might be a gun. So then it's hilarious because they're they think that this man, they thought he was going to kill this old man. They thought that he was going to kill this nun. Absolutely ridiculous. And so we see that he ends up going to the school where he actually did have a cello and he was giving his daughter her cello, but he sees the woman across the street. He goes and be like, yo, what's good? I know you guys are following me. Like, what's up? He had a gun in his hand too, all calm and smooth. Like, yeah, what's good? He was like, you guys had a breach of contract. I was like, breach of contract? They were like, what? Breach of contract? And he was like, one of you guys burned the target. And then I was like, dang, Beth, you sure did breach that a couple of times. So he ends up telling him, like, hey, I don't do jilted lovers because at the end of the day, that turns into like a whole other thing when people start having regrets. They get to talking, and then I got to take care of you too. So not only did I have to take care of the target, I had to take care of you because you wanted to get in your feelings and start reminiscing and stuff. So now everybody did. So she has an issue with this, but they're just like, whatever at this point. And so Beth ends up going to she basically ends up going back to give him the money. But she did ask him a couple of questions in regards to like, why did you charge for these certain line items? And he basically tells her like, hey, you know, I was coming up with all the ideal opportunities in which it would be feasible to actually kill him. He goes to have sushi every week at this time. That was an ideal time. He takes a shower after he plays racquetball in a country club. That's an ideal time. So we keep seeing this reoccurring theme of opportunity. All the opportunities that the women would have if Rio would be out of their lives, the opportunities that Greg found that it would actually be ideal to kill him. And so he asks her, like, what does a person like you married with 4 kids, how do you end up involved with someone like Rio? And she says, I was bored. And so he tells her to meet her at noon on Friday. So she goes to meet him, and she's like, why am I here? He has the gun out, and he was just like, no one ever gets to see what I do. But one of the things the reason why I wanted to meet up with you is because we're just alike. And she was like, sir, you're like a hitman. I'm a housewife. How are we alike? And I was wondering the same thing at the same time. But he says, I was bored too. This is how I got into this. And I was like, that's one hell of a job to get into if you're bored, but okay. So we see a black G-Wagon pull up. I'm thinking it's Rio. She thinking it's Rio. He was like, tell me when. And I was like, bruh, what? So she started hesitating or whatnot, but then she was like, now. And then he shoots, and I was like, they didn't kill my baby daddy. I can't believe they just killed my baby daddy like this. And I was really upset. But then I realized it wasn't my baby daddy. It was some random person, and it was a paintball, but he was testing her to make sure that she was really ready for him to pull that trigger. Are you about that life or not, Beth? And he realized that Beth actually is about that life. And so he says that he will go ahead and take care of the hit as planned for her. But in the meantime, Dean is finding some opportunities too. So we know that Dean kissed his boss, which is inevitable because Dean can't help himself, and then Beth ain't making it any easier, but it's still up to Dean to keep his thing in his pants, his mouth to himself or to his wife. But yeah, so he quit his job, and he's doing a delivery service. It isn't going too well so far. But Beth kind of thinks about what Rhea told her about having to come up with a system, and he apologizes to her, for not having it together, but she was just like, what do you really want to do? And so he wants to open up his own hot tub, which everyone keeps saying in the episode, it's a spa. We've heard this in the previous episodes. And so she goes to Rio and she says, I have my system, and she tells him the idea. He's ignoring her. Then she picks up one of the pool balls and cue balls and just throws it at the mirror. I'm just like, Beth is such a child. Was it necessary to do all of that? Even he had to stop and just stare at her why do you do the stuff that you do for attention? I don't understand it. But he tells her, that's fine. We're good. They got their business. I don't know what's about to happen, but I find it, at the end of the episode when Dean's telling her, thank you so much for getting me back in there, it seems like she has a bit of regret because this opportunity that she did give to Dean, she's going to have to take it away if they end up going through with killing Rio, which they bet not, or we're going to have some problems and I'm going to have to boycott. But in the meantime, Annie's opportunity during the course of this episode is her GED test. So she's been studying for a GED, but she decides she's going to give up, as she always does. She always gives up her opportunities to better herself and just to do better in general. And so we see that she ends up asking her cousin to come up with a fake diploma and stuff so she won't have to take the test. But because all of this stuff goes wayside when they have to end up giving Odu more money, and then Rio ends up cutting them off, she tells her cousin, can I get that family discount? And he was like, no, not one bit. No, thank you. And so Ben comes home and is like, what are you doing? Why are you just chilling? Why aren't you studying? You have a test tomorrow. And so basically Ben says well, I'm gonna quit school too if you just gonna quit on this. And so Annie ends up studying for the test. And I'm thinking yes, girl, you finna pass this, girl. But she didn't pass it, y'all. And then the therapist raggedy behind come over, which I'm just this is so inappropriate. But I guess if Ben called Ben, she really needed the help. And so he ends up taking her out for a drink. Then they have this moment with one another. Then he tells her that he proposed to his girlfriend, that obviously they ain't got nothing going on. There's no spark or connection between them, and things get weird. He leaves. She just sits there looking sad. I'm just like, Annie, why can't you just fall in love with someone that's actually available? It wasn't your fault about the FBI agent because he played you, but at least he didn't have no wife, he didn't have no kids, he didn't have no girlfriend, no fiance, no nothing. I don't know why you always just you think your opportunity is always someone who's involved with someone else, and I just don't understand that. We see that with Ruby and Stan, they're kind of going through this conflict the past couple of episodes that one of them has to be good. Ruby is adamant that someone has to be good. But we see that at the end of last week's episode that her daughter decided that she wanted to help the family who lost their daughter in order for her to live. And so everything seems to be fine until they start finding out that they hitchhiked half the way there. They don't have a car. They had to sell it because he got laid off. Then it was so awkward at the dinner table when they like telling everybody to go around and say their blessings and what they're thankful for. But I was like, Stan, Ruby, y'all go to church like every week. Why are y'all struggling with this? You're just so uncomfortable. But they end up eating. But we see the next day that this girl really sat up here and asked Ruby for a car. She was like, I need a car. And I find that it's crazy because you always think that when you're going through something that, you know, no one is going through it worse than you. And for the past couple of seasons, Ruby and Stan have really struggled to keep pay the bills, you know, struggle to not lose the house, you know, all of these things. And then they see this family who's been through so much more grief and loss and debt than what they have been going through that it almost makes them look like they're rich. But the audacity for this woman to come up in her house and ask her for a car, ma'am, have several seats, bye, get up out my house, send up here asking me for some dad burn car. And so her dumb behind ended up feeling sorry, buying her a car because she's trying to buy her way back into heaven from doing all this illegal stuff. And what happens? Phoebe, the agent, is on to her and figures out that it was her. She's involved with all of this, with the plan that she came up with to have all of the women go get their mani-pedis while she steals the stuff. I'm just like, Ruby, girl, are you serious? Before it was Beth making the dumb decisions that got caught, and now you getting caught by the feds. I just like, you hate to see it. You just hate to see it all around. So now I don't know what's going to happen because they're going to have these agents on them. And it's ironic that Rio brought up, like, this is how y'all got caught in the first place doing stupid stuff. So I don't know what the heck is about to happen, but I'm very interested to see how all of these opportunities fall in line. Is she really going to let Greg kill Rio? Like, is she going to squash Dean's dreams? What is going to happen with the feds looking into Ruby? I don't know, but it seems like this is finally like getting good. Like, I feel like it's been a lot of setup and not really a lot happening. And hopefully these next couple of episodes, we really get to see them really get involved with, you know, running from the feds, running from Rio. They're killing Rio. What is going to happen? I don't know, but I'm happy to tune in next week and find out. But those are pretty much my thoughts on Good Girls Season 3, Episode 10. Opportunity. As always, my name is Sharona from Pay Your Weights, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.